Hi guys, it's Lily again, and I'm back with the second in my 2016 Hobonichi review series. This is the Hobonichi Weeks, and this is the first time that I've had a week, so I was extra excited about it arriving. I'm always excited about all of my Hobonichi stuff arriving, but I was particularly curious about this one because I'd seen a few reviews on YouTube, and I had the feeling that it might be the thing I was looking for my personal planner. And indeed, I think that it will be exactly what I'm looking for. So the Weeks is interesting because, first of all, it's hardback, and it's a completely different shape from the Techos that I'm used to. So if we just compare it to the A6 Avec, it's quite a bit taller and narrower. So I was kind of worried about this shape because at first glance, and I think this is what sort of made me not immediately think that it would be something that I was interested in when I saw it, other people reviewing it last year, is that this shape kind of reminds me of those diaries that you can get in, like Ryman's or stationery shops, that sort of like the free promotional diaries that they hand out. I'm not describing it very well, but like a sort of like thin plastic ones. Somehow the shape just didn't look very cute to me. It was like sort of just looked like it would be too long and thin. But then when I saw more reviews, because this year I think when they released the 2016 ones, there were quite a few reviews, and my favorite one by the Sassy Pineapple, which I will link below, just kind of made me think again about it. And so I thought, okay, since I'm placing this order and ordering a few different things, I'll try it. And so when it came, I was quite surprised. I'd already had the idea from sort of trying to work out from people's videos about the size. It's not actually as long and thin as I thought it was. I mean, you can see here compared to the A6. The A6 isn't square, but it's a bit more squarish. So obviously it's longer and thinner than that, but it's not like, I don't know. It's a nice shape. I think it kind of feels proportional. If you compare it to, let's say, a personal size Filofax, I'm just doing this in case any of you are like me and are wondering exactly how long and thin it is and if it's going to bother you. That's a personal size Filofax. This is how it compares to the regular size Midori or Fodori Traveler's Notebook. This is a Love Doki. And this is how it compares to the cousin. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get all of that in view. Let's see. Okay, so it's quite a bit smaller than the cousin, and the main thing about it, which is appealing, is that it's extremely light and thin. So obviously, like other Hobonichi products, or all of the Techos anyway, it's made out of Tomoe River paper. So it's really thin paper, but you get the whole year in weeks, and then a bunch of note paper, which obviously I'll go through in depth in a minute. So if you compare it to the A6 Techo again in terms of thickness, I'd say that they're about the same. But keep in mind, this is only half the year, day per page, and this has got the whole year, and then like kind of half of it is blank note paper. So it's a really, really small size in terms of like it will fit anywhere. It's, like kind of weighs next to nothing, and it's very thin. So if you compare it to, this is my pocket size Filofax, which is shorter. It's more like a square. It's a bit smaller than an A6, but kind of roughly comparable. This is much fatter, and it doesn't even have a whole year's worth of inserts in it. So I think that this is a really good option if you're looking for a lightweight, portable, very on-the-go planner. In terms of the cover material, it's a kind of it's like a fabric feeling. I think it's cotton, and it comes in a whole bunch of different colors. So unlike other Hobonichis, I mean, like the original and the cousin, it comes with different cover designs. So they have like a whole bunch of different colors and then also different pattern designs. including one that's like a design from an anime. It's an anime illustration. And so you just pick the one that you like the best, and you don't have to get a different cover for it. In fact, for me, actually, there were no cover options on the Hobonichi website because they're almost all made out of leather. And I think there was only one that wasn't, and I just didn't like the design. So you don't need a cover for it. But you can get a plastic cover, which I'll show you in a minute. So yeah, you can just carry it around like this because it's hardcover. It's kind of bendy. I think others have pointed that out as well. Is that it's flexible, even though it's hardback. This fabric it's like kind of a cross between a really hardback and a paperback. It's like a sort of flexible cloth cover. But there's definitely, it's sturdy. And then here it's got 2016 debossed on it. And there's nothing here except on the back. It's also debossed. It says Hobonichi. Let's see if you can see that. I'm not sure if that will focus, but right there it says Hobonichi. And then on the sign, again, on the side, like debossed, it's impossible to see it here, but it says 2016. It's almost impossible to see it in real life. It's so faint and unnoticeable, but it is there. So I think if you put it on the bookshelf, you might not actually see it, but it's there. If if you were looking for it, you'd find it. Yeah, so in terms of cover options, you can either get nothing, or you can get this plastic cover on cover for it. If you've seen my other Hobonichi videos, you'll know that I hate the cover on cover for the A6 and the A5 Hobonichis. I've just never got on with them, and I think it's because you have this really nice, like, beautiful cover, and then you cover it in plastic, and it kind of adds bulk. And I don't know why. I know lots of people love them. I've never got on with them. So I was really expecting that I would hate this as well, but I ordered it just because it's really cheap. So as long as you're ordering stuff, you might as well get it, because if you don't and you wish that you had it, then you'll be like, no, you can't place another order from Japan, like just for one of these, which costs like £1. So anyway, when I got it, I thought that it was actually quite nice. For some reason, I think maybe it's because this cover is built in. It doesn't quite have the same feeling as putting on a cover and then putting another cover on top of that. It just feels like you're getting something to protect this. So another thing about the cover, which is good, is that as you can see, unlike the A5 and the A6, this doesn't it doesn't have a pen loop. I mean, obviously the A5 and the A6 don't have a pen loop, but because it's assumed that you'll get a cover for them, which does. This, you don't have to have a cover, but then you won't have a pen loop. So you could get a Leuchtturm pen loop, one of these, just an adhesive pen loop that you can stick on, and that's what I had this for, because I was considering, if I didn't like this, that I would put a pen loop on it. And you can get these in all different colors, so you can get one that will match your cover. So that's an option. But if you like to put on stickers, you still won't have anywhere to stick your stickers. They do give you this little thing. Let me see if I can find it. They give you like yes, I put it in my Hobonichi tissue holder, which I never know what to do with, like many people, I think. So you get this like adhesive pocket that you can stick on the back, or in the front here, or here, anywhere you want. And then you do have like one little pocket. You only get one of these, and I thought that this wasn't going to be enough. I'm sorry, this video is already turning out to be really long, but I wanted to do a thorough review and like kind of cover everything that I could think of. So yeah, this is something, if you don't want to put stickers on and you're not going to want to keep things in here, and you think one pocket is enough, then, and you put on your adhesive pen loop, then you're fine and you don't need one of these. But if you do think that you would like, stickers, or you'd like to keep things here, then this is a really great option. And let me just show you what it looks like with the cover on. So Sorry, I'll just take this out of frame so that you don't see. It always looks scary to me when people put covers on their Hobonichis, but there it is. So for some reason, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but I think that this looks very inoffensive. It doesn't add a lot of bulk and it just kind of protects and it gives it a glossy look. There's some imprints. I don't know if this is just on mine, but from basically there's an inside pocket here. So you can put things there. And then there's this little flap which kind of detaches that you can use to mark like mark your week or whatever you want to mark. In addition, there are 2 bookmarks. And that's kind of left an imprint here, which might not show up. I think maybe you can see it there. That doesn't really bother me too much. I'm assuming that it will probably straighten out at some point, but it's just because the plastic is like pressed together for a while when it's shipping to you. So I'm just mentioning that in case it might bother somebody. I can imagine that it might bother someone, but I think it's kind of, I'd rather it didn't have that, but I can live with it. And then you have the same thing on the back. So on the back it has, and then you can put stuff in here, obviously like kind of the main pocket, and then it has a pen loop. So this is like kind of everything you need really. My one question to Hobonichi is why don't they make covers the same type of covers that they make for the A5 and the A6? Like I really don't understand, because those covers are amazing. It could be the same design as this, you know, just like with a pocket here, a flap here, a pen loop. I don't know why they only give you this plastic cover option. The actual like covers that they have are these kind of really elaborate, like much bigger things with zips, and I don't understand why there's not something in the middle. I think that would be great, but there's not. And I'm guessing that the sort of like, I've looked on Etsy to try to find, you know, like a week's cover that's sort of like in the same style as the other Hobonichi covers, and I haven't found anything. And I'm guessing that that's because the weeks are kind of relatively new. Up until this year you could get them, but you can only get them on the Japanese side of the website, which people did. But I think now that they're available on the English side, they're going to become a lot more popular because you can just order them, you know, the same way that you would have ordered the A5 or the A6. So I'm kind of hoping that the sort of Etsy provisions for Hobonichi style covers will increase for weeks. But as of now, like I've been checking relatively regularly, shall we say, and there isn't anything. And I'd make one myself if I were that way inclined, but I'm just not at all crafty in that way. So I think this is really fine. If I didn't like it, if I felt the same way about it as I do about the other cover on covers, then I just wouldn't want to use it, but I like it. And the other thing, which I also learned from the Sassy Pineapple that makes it even better, is this. I'll just show you. So I've got this postcard. This is like my favorite planner postcard. This is the Elephant Postman, and he's coming to deliver Happy Mail. And I've put him on all of my ringed planners. And it was concerning me. I thought, what will I do with the bound planner? Because and I discovered that you don't actually have to trim off very much. I just trimmed off a little bit, and it fit perfectly in here. And now, I've put him on the inside the cover, and then, ta-da! I have this perfect personalized weeks cover, which makes me very happy every time I see it. So the other option that I was considering, I'm sorry, we will look at it soon. I'm just wanted to show you all of the different cover options, is putting inside a Fodori. And so this is like the sort of regular size Fodori, and it does fit inside if you put it on the smaller elastic. So I'll just show you really quickly so you sort of get an idea of what it would be like. This is what it would look like. And I didn't really like this when I tried it. I kind of felt like there's sort of too much room at the top and the bottom and the sides, and it kind of obscures the like petiteness of it, and it just sort of dwarfs it. So I didn't really like this, but this is another option if because not everybody would be bothered by that. So like if you wanted to say like put like a sticker, like a pouch with stickers in here, you could put it on the other elastic and you'd be fine, and you could put the pen loop on here or on the weeks, and then you wouldn't have to have the cover on cover. So that's another option, but I think it I'm going to stick with this. I'm really happy with this. Okay, so finally, all of that said, let's look inside. So when you open it up, the inside cover is like a kind of thick, like a cardstock, but it feels, it's textured. And this is really cool. I like this detail. So in here, in like tiny letters over and over and over again in this sort of like pattern design, let's see if you can see that, it says hobo. So it's just H-O-B-O, H-O-B-O repeating, and I think that's really cute. And then it says 2016 Hobonichi Techo Weeks in the usual Hobonichi font, which I love. And then you get a 2016 calendar on one page. It's quite small. And unlike the A6, it doesn't have grids, which for this I don't mind. I think that's okay because I don't mind just having this, but that's one thing that's different in comparison with the A6. My 2015 cousin doesn't actually have grids on its yearly spread, so I don't know if that's just an original thing or if it's changed for this year. And then it's got holidays, and as usual it has Sundays in red and also Japanese holidays, and Saturdays are in grey, which I think is different from the other techos. Oh no, I didn't notice that before. You can't see it here, but Saturday is actually grey, I think. It's a very, very subtle difference, so you don't notice it. On this, it's really noticeable. See, you can see that how Saturdays are grey. And then you have 2015, the previous year here, and 2017. So half a page each. This one isn't actually a full page, it's more like 2/3 of a page because you've got all these holidays here. And then you come to one of my favorite features of all of the Hobonichis, the yearly vertical spread. This one is, you get the whole year on 2 pages, so it's really compact. So it's got 6 months per page. And you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines here on each page, so that you could list, like if you're tracking, a lot of people use this for tracking. And I use this for tracking as well. Like, so, you know, just certain things that I want to sort of like keep track of over the year. It's nice to have at a glance. So you could list what the things are, let's say, if you had a code, because this is really small. So you could only, I'd say, I have like pretty small handwriting, and I'd say you could get like maybe 1 word, maybe like 4 or 5 letters in here, uppercase. So I use a kind of like code, like a shorthand for this anyway. So, you know, like that would be fine. But if you wanted to sort of like write it out up here, you could. And then you just get, you know, like 1 day per line, and Saturdays are in grey as usual, Sundays are in red, and then holidays are in red as well. So you can see like this is New Year's Day, and that's in red. Some of them are international holidays and some of them are Japanese only. So my main disappointment with this page is that it doesn't have grids. And here I actually think it would be useful to have grids, because if you compare it, again, I'm just comparing this to the A6 because that's what it's kind of the closest to it in size if you're trying to decide between the two, but the cousin is like this as well. This has got grids and it's not much bigger. So I'm not really sure why they didn't put the grids in here. It's not a deal breaker, it's fine, but I think it would be nice, especially because the space is so small, if you were writing in single letters. Like, I'd like to be able to put in, like, say, track 1 thing here, that's 1 box, and then something else in another box. Or like you could color code and like kind of mark the different boxes. So you can't do that with this because there are no lines, there are no grids. So it's a shame, but it's still fine and serves the purpose. By the way, while I've got this open, I just wanted to show you one other difference, which is the paper color. So the A5 and the A6 Hobonichi have got like reasonably white. It's not bright white. I always thought of it as an off-white, but this is really quite yellowy. So let's see if you can see. I'm not sure how well that's coming up on the camera, but this one is much more yellow. I like them both. So I was actually surprised when I first heard about this. Somebody on another video pointed this out, and I was like, what? the A5 and the A6 have yellow paper, don't they? And then I went back and looked and it was like, well, actually, it's not really that yellow. And when you see them side by side, this one is much more, it's not yellow, but it's, you know, it's kind of much creamier. Anyway, so that's your month on, your year on 2 pages. And then we go into the monthly view. And the monthly view starts with December 2015. And it's it says December in, it's got it in English as well as in Japanese, and then it has the days of the week in Japanese and English. And it's it starts, so you start at the beginning of the week, so it's got the last day of November here sort of grayed out, but you can still see it, and it's a Monday start as usual. Sunday's in red. And you get, here you do have grids, so yay, I'm very happy about that, because that's one of my other favorite things about Hobonichi is the gridded paper. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes here, going all along the side down to the bottom. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boxes horizontally. And on the right hand side, you have 4 check boxes as well. So every other, see if you can see that, every other square has a check box. And I'm planning to use this basically for tracking mostly planner related orders, and like basically whenever I order something, and also exercise. So I would just like tick one of the boxes or color in one of the boxes, or put an issue that I'm trying to decide is how much to use stickers. Because this is so thin, I was kind of traumatized last year with my A6 Hobonichi, where I put a whole bunch of stickers on and then it got really fat, and I didn't like it as much, but I like the look of stickers and they kind of make me happy. So I'd kind of like to keep this nice and compact, especially because this is going to be my like kind of personal planner, which I'm planned to take everywhere with me. So that debate is to be continued, but yeah, I'm just going to use this for you know, kind of like at a glance, those are the things that I wanted to keep track of with it. It's quite small, so if you were using this as your main planner, which I have deliberated, I've kind of been going back and forth about that. I don't think, sadly, that I could use this as my work planner because I've just got too much stuff going on, the way I use it now anyway. I'm sure it would be possible, but I've kind of got used to having all the space in the cousin. So you've got like 6 boxes by 8 boxes, I think. So it's quite small. Like, again, you can't write a huge amount of stuff in here. So, you know, you can write maybe 1 word going across. But it's good for, yeah, just for what I want to use it for. It's perfect. And so that goes until March of 2017. So you get 3 months of forward planning, which is nice. And it also labels the weeks like other Hobonichi. So this is week 52, week 1, week 2, week 3. What it doesn't do, unlike the A5 and A6, the 2016 version, they put 2017 here so that you can see that you're in the wrong year if you want to be in that same month for 2016. It doesn't do that. It has got the year at the top, but it's in very small letters. So I thought that was a nice feature because that makes it, you know, pretty impossible to mix up the year. But this one doesn't have it. And then we go into the week. So there's no blank page in between. It just goes straight into the weeks, and it starts at the very end of November 2015. I'm getting ahead of myself. So I was kind of disappointed because I think I heard on a video that it started in November, and so I was hoping that that meant the beginning of November because I'm really keen to the end of November. So yeah, if you order one now, then you only have, by the time it comes, you'll only have like a month to wait, but that's still 1 month too long in my opinion. So it's got a week on one page, and then the opposite page is just gridded for notes, and this is very similar, or I mean pretty much identical to the layout of the Moleskine weekly diary. So I've always thought that this was a layout that wouldn't work for me because it doesn't have very much space per day. Like, so, you know, I like the week on 2 pages. So I thought if you had like both of these for a week, that would be okay. But the way that this is laid out, I actually think that this would be perfect because you could use all of this for your week. So effectively, you can have a week on 2 pages. It's kind of up to you how you want to use it, but because it's all, it's kind of, by the way, it lays perfectly flat. Thank you, Hobonichi, as always. So that's not an issue. So if you have this lying like this, there's nothing to stop you just using all of this as your Monday, which is what I'm thinking of doing with it. Alternatively, you could use this side for appointments and this side for to-dos, and it's got some really cool features. So this side is actually blank. It doesn't have grids. Now, on this first page, because the paper is really thin, you can see that it shows through the calendar pages from the month on 2 pages. If we skip to another page, instead you just get the grid showing through. So when you look at it, I'm not sure how well it's picking up on camera, but when you look at it, it actually looks like both sides are gridded. But on this side, it's just showing through from the other side, which I think is clever, because if this were actually gridded, because the paper is so thin, you might actually get like a kind of double, I don't know, grids in different places or something. But as it is, you have this nice like framework if you wanted to write, if you like having the grids, but it's not actually on the paper itself. But what it does have is 2 little dots that are kind of like dividing the day into 3. So let's see if you can see that. There's a dot here and a dot here, and it has one of those for every day. So if you wanted to, you could draw a line here and a line here, and it like kind of gives you a sort of like, this is the exact place to do it. And then you could have like, say, I don't know, either morning, afternoon, evening, or home, work, personal, or like however you wanted to divide it. You could divide it into 3 sections, or if you wanted to have one smaller section and one bigger section, you could do that. So I think that's a really nice touch. And of course, if you want to ignore it, it's so unobtrusive that you can ignore it like just fine. I think that I'm not going to use that for anything, because like I said, this is my personal planner, so it's kind of already divided up, and I just use this for kind of, well, as it is, I don't know, maybe I will end up dividing them. Like I could say, if I wanted to do something YouTube related, I could put that here, and things like, one thing that I want to track here is water intake, because I just find that helpful. And so the grids are great, because like, say if you want to drink 3 liters of water, you can like kind of mark off 1, 2, 3. So I really like that. So I might like put that in a different section or something, and then like put to-dos over here. So there are lots of different possibilities for this. And another really cool thing is on this side, so this is gridded, but you also have this full non-gridded line, this like kind of straight line going up and down, which divides the page into, so it's 1/3 on this side, and then you have 2/3 on the other side. And I think that that's a really cool feature as well, because if you wanted to use this side for to-dos, you could write like headings here and then details there. Or you could use it in any other way that you want to, if you want to kind of like divide it into sections. So I think that that's really nice, because they've sort of added these help you organize your day and your week, but you can ignore them if they don't suit you. So I'm thinking of just using it as kind of like one running, like this is Monday. Yeah, again, as in the months, it's a Monday start. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Originally, I was thinking of using this for the planner and this for like gratitude. And then I decided to move the gratitude completely over into the Avex and just take it out of this and have this solely for planning, because I was worried that there might not be enough room if I was doing all of that. And some days I don't have a lot to plan, sort of in terms of personal things as opposed to work, but other days there's more. So it's nice to know that you've got as much space as you need. So this is actually one thing that was bothering me about this Filofax, is that there's not a huge amount of space in the pocket size. So you get the days are actually, that's a strange thing about this, that the days are written in English and not in Japanese. So I was really puzzled about that when I first saw it. But yeah. And then as usual, Sundays in red. And you get at the bottom of the left-hand side, you get 3 lines, like dotted lines for notes. So you could use this for all kinds of things. Like again, if you had some kind of weekly tracking thing, like I think maybe I would use this for exercise. Again, also it might be redundant because it would be in the months as well. But if you just wanted to see like how often you exercised, or I don't know, did something during the week, you could just like tick off every time, and then you'd have that sort of at the bottom of the week. I mean, like your 3 top things that you wanted to get done in the week, or like, again, lots of things you could use that for. And then on the right hand side, you have a quote. And this always makes me think I really, really want to learn more Japanese, because then I could read the quotes. I can read the kana and like pick out, you know, like a few things, but I can't really read it. So that's kind of my motivation because of Hobonichi. Like I should learn Japanese. And then you have the sort of like month at a glance here, which I really like. It's got the week circled. And on the right side, so the other, I'll go back to this. On the left side, it lists the month at the top. So you can see that's 1, and then it becomes 2 when you go into February. It lists the month in the number, and then it says in English January 2016, and then it says 4th week. So this is another thing that they do, is that on every page it will tell you which week it is. So when like we go back to December, because it gives you all of December, it starts with 49th week, 50th week, etc., and then it turns into week 1, no, 53rd week. First week is at the beginning of January. And then on the right-hand side, it's got a little tab with the month. The other thing that made me sad about the weeks in comparison with the A5 and A6 is that it doesn't have different colors. So this is all, it kind of looks almost brown, but I think it's black. So a kind of browny black, and that's the same. So you've got January, and then when it turns into February, the color doesn't change. So they must have had a reason for doing this, but I think that it would have been nice if this had the same colors as the original and the cousin, because I really like how the colors change by month. But it's still beautiful. So you get February, March, April, May, June, goes all the way, and as always, with all of these Hobonichi products, you've got, don't know how well that will show up here, but you get a kind of little ladder going down, so you can see, if you look at the side, like kind of which month you're in. And so this goes all the way until the end of December. So you've got December 2016, and then it stops on the 1st of January 2017. So that's the weekly layout. And then you'd think that's the end, right? But no, we're only halfway through. How awesome is this? Like, this is so amazing to me. It's the miracle of Tomoe River paper. So when you get like halfway through, that's the end of the year, and then you have a new section that says note, and it's 71 pages. It has this little list of abbreviations on the left side, with things like the @ symbol, e.g., i.e., etc. Anyway, then here it's got notes, and then it lists the page. And this is with like a straight line, and then with a dotted line it says subject, and you can write the subject. And I think that this is so cool, because then it has all of this note paper. As it says, 71 pages of note paper, which is like much more than 1 page per week. And it starts here, and it's all gridded, which I love, and it's numbered, and that's so awesome. It's like in Leuchtturm notebooks. It's the only other place that I've seen where they number note pages. So it starts with 0, 1, 0, 2, and then every page is numbered going up to 71. So it's really easy if you're using this for particular things that you can put in here what page something starts and what the subject is, and it gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 sort of like lines that you can write in. If you have a lot of different things and you wanted to add more, you could make the first page an index page as well. But for me, this is fine because I basically want to use this for list of YouTube videos that I want to make, a list of notes for upcoming videos, list of like planner supplies, ideas for planners, planner supplies that I want to order, that kind of thing, random notes, other like stuff that I have to buy, that kind of thing. So I think I have 5 different sections, and so I was just going to like allocate them, like some of them 10 pages, some of them 20 pages, some of them 25 pages, and divide it up like that. So there's really a lot of scope for this, and I think that this is one of the things that makes the week so brilliant. So the note page, so each page is gridded, and then it's got this, so it's a dotted grid as usual, and it's got the usual like kind of thicker line, you know, kind of full, not dotted line, about, I think about a third of the way through the page. And this is again just like in the week section, so that if you wanted to make this like a heading and then this, you know, kind of like constituents of that or something, like if this was your to-do list, if you had like a running like a bullet journal or something, this could be like the symbols and here are the things that you have to do, or this could be a topic and then this is where you put all of the stuff that you have to do to like kind of get that done or something. So I was thinking of doing something like putting a list of video ideas here, and then like kind of writing the date when I filmed the video. So it would be useful for that kind of thing. And then you get all of this paper, and then at the end you get the usual Hobonichi extras. So this is the age chart, which I really like, even though I mean it's not like I need it that often, but I think it's kind of fun to see like my grandfather was born in 1910, so he would be 106 if he were alive. Like, that's interesting. And then it's got, this is in the other Japanese Hobonichis as well. And then all of this, like some of this I don't recognize, but I don't know what it is anyway. And then like some contact pages. It's got actually quite a few contact pages. And then like your personal information page on the back. And it's got the serial number. And then it has this this back cover page, which also has the hobo labels here. And that's it for that. The only other thing that I wanted to show you is this. So if you've visited the Hobonichi site, you've probably seen the accessories. They have notebooks, and the notebooks are made out of Tomoe River paper as well, and they're made so that they fit inside your Hobonichi. So there's an A5 size, an A6 size, and a week size. And so you get 3. They come in this packet. And again, these notebooks are pretty cheap. So if you're ordering a week's, I think it's worth getting one of these as well. So you get 3 notebooks in different colors, and they say notebook in different places on each one. Sorry, that's out of frame. So there's like a sort of turquoise one, an orange one, and a green one. And they all have the same gridded Tomoe River paper, which is kind of creamy, just like the weeks. I think it matches the weeks. And it has something like, I think 32 pages or 40 pages. And I don't think that these ones are detachable. The A6 kind, they're detachable, but I don't think these are perforated. They're stitched. So the reason that I got this was because I want to use this for my on-the-go planner. So I have in my Pocket Filofax at the moment, I have a section of like kind of reference information that has stuff like my, you know, like bank details and my dog's pet insurance and stuff that I kind of might need to have with me, and that stays the same from year to year. So I don't want to put it in here because at the end of the year I'd have to copy it all over into the next year's. So with this, I thought I'll write it all in here, and then I can, this is another reason why the cover on cover is useful, because it slots perfectly into here, and this like keeps it safe so it can't fall out. And then I've got it there, and then I can still put stickers in here and stickers in here, and it adds like nothing to the weight. It's really negligible. The only other thing, you've seen this already, I mentioned it briefly, but you have 2 bookmarks. One is black and the other one is gray. And so you can use one to mark, like say one to mark your week and one to mark your note page, or one to mark the month, and then use this tab to mark your week. I don't actually really like the Hobonichi bookmarks, so I like tabs instead. So I think I might use tabs, but I'll try it out first because it could be that with the weeks, I will feel differently about the bookmarks than I do about the other Hobonichis. So thank you for bearing with me with this really long video. I hope that you enjoyed this review. I certainly enjoy talking about the weeks, and I'm really looking forward to start using it, and I'll show you my setup when I do. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.